Hello, friends. If you are already receiving Social Security and you have never checked the earnings record your benefit was built on, this video walks you through something the Social Security Administration makes available that most. Here is what the problem looks like in practice. Someone has been collecting Social Security. What they do not know is that 2 years from the early 1990s were never recorded correctly. Earnings from a full-time job reported at roughly half of what they actually made. Their check has been short by approximately $100 every single month. The underpaid months are gone. But the error is still active right now until someone finds it. Someone finds a blank year in their history. They are told to provide a W-2 from a company that closed 15 years ago. They assume it is a dead end. What they do not know? The Social Security Administration can pull W-2 data from the IRS records specifically for this purpose. The documentation was sitting in a federal database. Someone posts a comment online. I do not think this applies to me. I already filed at 62. They are wrong. Per the Social, you can file a correction at any time after claiming. Once processed, your benefit increases permanently going forward. Why does the SSA send an official benefit letter with no mention of how to verify? Today, we answer that with the specific form name and exactly what to do, whether you have. Item 2 is the one that answers the question I see most in comments. Whether this correction process still applies if you have already been collecting for months or years. Stay for that one. The answer is not what most people assume. This video is for United States retirees and pre-retirees who receive or are. Everything here comes from the Social Security Administration and the IRS. I will name this is educational content only, not personalized financial or legal advice, and nothing here is a promise that you will receive any specific increase. Whether a correction changes your benefit depends on what your earnings record shows. Contact the Social Security Administration directly or speak with a benefits counselor. Now let us get into what matters. We are counting down 5 things to know about, starting with number 5. Number 5. Before you can read your earnings, you need to understand how the Social Security Administration uses it. Per the Social, your monthly benefit is based on your 35 highest earning years, each adjusted for inflation. Fewer than 35 years means missing years, or those zeros go directly into your average, pulling your monthly check down. More than 35 years means only the best 35 count. Pause here and write this down. Any year in your record that shows 0 when you know you were working that year is not just a historical mistake. It is actively reducing your monthly check right now, today, and every month going forward until someone corrects it. Per the Social Security, in some cases, a single corrected year can increase a monthly benefit by approximately, that is $1,200 per year. For every year the error goes unfound, that amount stays out of your check. The years that matter most are your highest earning ones, those most likely to be in your top 30. An error in a high earning year has a bigger impact than one in a low earning year. Your Social Security earnings statement lives inside your My Social Security account on the social. Once logged in, find your earnings history, a year-by-year list. Write down 3 things you are looking for. First, missing years. A year where you know you worked, but the record shows 0 or is completely blank. Per the Social Security Administration, this is the most common type of error, especially for people who worked in the 1980s and 90s. When payroll reporting at small businesses and family-owned companies was largely done second years, where the number is significantly lower than what you actually earned. If you remember making $32,000 in a particular year and your record shows 12, that gap is worth investigating. Third, early career years you may not think about anymore. A summer job. A year with multiple employers. Any of those can develop recording gaps that sit quietly in the record for decades. One clarification, the SSA records earnings only up to the taxable maximum for each. A high earner's record will show the cap, not full income. That is, what you are looking for is a number dramatically lower than what you remember, or a blank year when you know you were working. Number 3. The answer the comment section kept asking for and never got. If you find a year that looks wrong, the best documentation is your W. It shows exactly what your employer reported. Old tax returns or pay. But what if you have none of that? What if the company no longer exists? Pause here, because this is the part most people watching do not know. Per the Social Security Administration's own published guidance, the SSA can request your W-2 information directly from the IRS going back to at no cost to you specifically for the purpose of correcting your earnings record. The paperwork you thought was gone may be sitting in a federal database right now. When you contact the Social Security Administration to file a correction, you can ask them to initiate that retrieval. If the SSA retrieval does not, IRS Form 4506T. That form goes directly to the IRS for earnings data tied to your Social Security number. Write this down. If you believe you have a missing or underreported year and know, your first step is contacting the Social Security Administration and asking specifically. That one sentence spoken to an SSA representative opens a door most people never. Before the climax, an illustrative composite. Not a real individual. Patricia is 71, a retired dietary aide from Tennessee. She filed at 62 and assumed the benefit letter was accurate. 5 years later, her grandson helped her log in and check her earnings history. 2 years in the early 90s showed numbers far below what she remembered from her full-time work. Her W-2s were gone. What Patricia did not know, she filed Form SSA-7008. In Patricia's, the correction raised her monthly benefit by approximately $75 permanently. Going forward, 5 years of underpayment is not recovered, but every payment after the correction reflects the right number. Her response when she saw the new amount, that money was always mine. I just did not know to go find it. Number 2, the climax. Yes, if you are already receiving Social Security, you can still correct your earnings record. Per the Social Security Administration, corrections can be filed at any time after claiming. There is no window that closes when you start collecting. And the process does not care how long ago you filed. The form you need is called the Request for Correction of Earnings Record. Pause and write this down. Form SSA-7008. Available from the Social Security Administration at no cost. Fill it out. Attach your documentation, a W-2, a tax, or a note requesting the SSA to retrieve the IRS data if you have no paperwork, and submit it to your local SSA office or by mail. Per the Social Security, corrections typically process in 10 to 90 days. Once the correction, your earnings record is updated, and SSA recalculates your benefit based on the correction. The new amount applies to every payment going forward permanently. 2 things. First, the correction is not retroactive. Months you were underpaid are not recovered, only going forward. Second, per the Social Security Administration's published guidance, there is a 3-year simplified window for recent errors. For older errors, 10, 20, 30 years back. Corrections can still be filed with documentation. There is no hard cutoff date. Do not assume that because something happened decades ago, the trail. A note for SSDI recipients, the same earnings record underlies your disability benefit. If you believe your record has errors from before your disability onset date, contact the Social Security Administration about a review using this same form. Number 1. Per the Social Security Administration, if you have worked at any point after you began receiving Social Security, even part-time SSA is supposed to review those earnings each year. If any newer year is higher than one of your older, lower earning years in your 35-year average, your benefit is supposed to be recalculated upward automatically. This is called a recomputation. Not every recomputation process is log in and confirm those recent years are showing in your record with the correct amounts. Here is the full picture. 5. Your benefit is built on your 35 Any wrong or missing year is actively reducing your check right now. Log into your My Social Security account and look for blank years or numbers too low. 3. If your records are gone and the employer no longer exists. The Social Security Administration may be able to pull your W-2 data from the IRS. 2. If you are already receiving Social Security, you can still file a correction using Form SSA-7008. Once processed, your benefit increases permanently. 1. If you have worked since you started collecting, verify those recent earnings are in your record and your benefit was recomputed. Log into your My Social Security account on the Social Security Administration's official website. Go year by year. Look for blank years and numbers that seem too low. 2. If something does not look right, pull out any records you have, contact the Social Security Administration, and ask about retrieving your W-2 data. 1. If you find a discrepancy, request Form SSA, submit it with your documentation, and wait. The increase applies permanently going forward. If you have a parent or friend who has been on Social Security for years and never checked their earnings record, share this. The most common situation is someone who assumes the benefit was correct because an official letter said so. The correction form is 1 page. It is free. And for some, the single most important action from today is logging into your Social Security 10 minutes. It either confirms your benefit is right or starts a free. Do it tonight. Next video, how COLA increases work and whether they interact.